Have you seen the Mike Tyson
He's
video?
like 65.
Mike Tyson's coming back.
What?
Yes. You haven't seen? Dude.
No.
Okay. Go to Mike Tyson's page for his most recent video on his Instagram. He looks fucking incredible.
Really?
Terrifying. Dude,
He was so terrible.
But
Was
wait
there
till you see
anything more
this.
exciting?
People are there's certain people that are just crazy, man. Like, there's not a fucking chance in hell that Jake Paul would survive against the Mike Tyson that beat Marvis Frazier. It was an execution.
Joe Rogan couldn't help but express his disbelief and criticism towards Jake Paul for even considering stepping into the ring with a boxing icon like Mike Tyson. Rogan's reaction mirrors the sentiment of many who view this fight as a mismatch of epic proportions. On one hand, we have Mike Tyson, a living legend who has cemented his place in boxing history with an illustrious career spanning decades. Known for his raw power, intimidating presence, and unmatched ring IQ. On the other hand, we have Jake Paul, a social media influencer turned boxer whose foray into the sport has been met with skepticism and derision from purists who question his dedication and skill level. However, what has fueled the controversy surrounding this fight even further are the alleged personal insults hurled by Jake Paul towards Mike Tyson. Rumors suggest that Paul has crossed the line, resorting to low blows and disrespectful remarks in an attempt to provoke and unsettle the former heavyweight champion. You won't believe what people are saying now. There are some rumors going around that Jake Paul has been calling Mike Tyson overrated. That's like saying Superman isn't really that strong or that ice cream isn't that delicious. It just doesn't make sense. If Jake Paul really did say that Mike Tyson is overrated, that's not a very nice thing to say. Imagine if you worked really hard to be the best at something you were, and then someone came along and said you weren't that good. It would probably make you feel pretty upset, right? If Jake Paul did say mean things about Mike Tyson, it's like he's trying to take away all the hard work and success that Mike has had in his boxing career. It's not fair to say someone is overrated just because you're scared to fight them.
Where he was fucking terrifying. He was so fast, and he would do angles, and he was bobbing and weaving. You couldn't hit him, and he was just coming at you. And he was young. He was 20 years old at the time. He couldn't be stopped. No one had the solution. And I submit that Mike Tyson, the Mike Tyson that won the title against Trevor Berbick, the Mike Tyson that beat Larry Holmes, I think that Mike Tyson is the best heavyweight of all time. I don't think anybody fucks with him. It just, he didn't maintain that form, and he wound up losing to Buster Douglas. And, you know, I look at fighters when they're in their absolute prime. Like, what have you ever seen that was better than this? And with Mike Tyson, I've never seen anybody better. I've never seen any fighter, even Ali in his prime, even Ali when he was Cassius Clay. I never saw anybody who looked like Mike Tyson in his prime. I think it just, you can't maintain the kind of focus that was required to be this guy. Look, I mean, Marvis looks fucking terrified, and he should be.
Guess what? It seems like Mike Tyson is really, really mad at Jake Paul. He's also getting ready to teach Jake Paul a big lesson in the boxing ring. It's like when your teacher catches you misbehaving in class and says, "You're in big trouble now." In the ring, Mike Tyson is planning to be like a superhero fighting against a villain. He wants to use all his strength and power to defeat Jake Paul. So, if the fight still happens, it might be like watching a real-life superhero movie. Mike Tyson could be like the Incredible Hulk, smashing his way to victory and making Jake Paul regret ever trying to fight against him. It's going to be so exciting to see what happens next in this big boxing adventure.
And it's just a matter of time before he catches you, and here it is. Bing! Look at this.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Bro, he just puts him away. Just puts him away. It's an execution. It was just a matter of Mike Tyson closing the distance. This Mike Tyson, as fast as he was, as hard as he hits, I maintain he's the greatest.
Yeah.
The greatest heavyweight ever. Like that Mike Tyson, those fights were, you wanted to see executions. You didn't think anybody was going to beat him. Everybody he fought looked like they were about to die when they were in that ring.
The amount of people that think Mike actually stands a chance against me. I'm gonna kill him.
It's day one. The fun just begun. Day two. We're getting ready for you. Normally I do, but at this particular fight, I think I'm gonna go pretty raw and, naked.
Do you have any dislike for Jake Paul? Like, you want to teach him a lesson?
I will do just that.
Quick question. Do you think Jake Paul has a chance in beating the one and only Mike Tyson? Rather than expressing respect for the boxing icon, Paul took a jab at Tyson's age and current abilities. He allegedly said, "Mike Tyson, he's old, man. He's washed up. I'd easily beat him if we fought right now. He might have been great in his prime, but that was ages ago. I'm the new face of boxing, and I'd show him what the sport looks like today." These remarks have not been officially confirmed, but if true, they demonstrate a lack of respect for one of the greatest boxers of all time. Many fans and experts have criticized Paul for his supposed disregard for Tyson's legacy and the sport's history. Let me make one thing crystal clear. Tyson was and is the baddest man on the planet, the youngest heavyweight champion in history. He struck fear into the hearts of grown men who stepped into the ring with him. And then along comes this YouTube pretty boy Jake Paul, a wannabe boxer who thinks he can disrespect him. This kid has no idea who he's messing with. Jake Paul wouldn't last one round with prime Mike Tyson. Tyson would destroy that boy, wipe the canvas with him. He needs to learn to respect his elders and real legends of the sport. The audacity for him to call Tyson out and use his name for clout. For decades, Mike Tyson has been a force to be reckoned with in the world of boxing. His lightning-fast reflexes, powerful punches, and intimidating presence have earned him the title of one of the greatest boxers of all time. In recent years, a new name has emerged in the world of boxing: Jake Paul. The young YouTube sensation turned boxer has been making waves with his unorthodox entry into the sport. While Paul has managed to generate buzz and attract attention, his skills and respect for the craft have been questioned by many in the boxing community. The tension between Tyson and Paul reached a boiling point when Paul allegedly made private disrespectful remarks about the boxing legend. Jake Paul had the audacity to belittle Tyson's achievements and even challenge him to a sparring session. Boxing experts and legends have warned Paul to stay careful about what he is saying to Tyson. Many retired boxers have said, Paul doesn't know the first thing about the sacrifices and dedication it takes to be a true champion. He hasn't put in the blood, sweat, and tears that Tyson have. Jake Paul may have the attention of many people for now, but he has a long way to go before he can even dream of being in the same league as the legendary Mike Tyson. Well, experts think that after the latest provocating words of Paul, his chances of winning are now closer to zero. All eyes are on the insane confrontation between these two formidable opponents. Tyson is determined to silence the disrespectful provocations of Paul. With the date marked for July 20th, anticipation reaches a fever pitch as Tyson intensifies his training regimen, preparing for what promises to be a battle for the ages. For the latest bombshells on the boxing world, subscribe and leave a like, and you'll receive new, curated, and updated news for free.
Listen, if Mike Tyson hits anybody, don't care if he's 90, he's going to knock him out cold, isn't he? It's I am Mike Tyson. He's the baddest man on the planet, you know. And Jake Paul's obviously, he's very experienced now. He's had a lot of tough fights. He's had a lot of good fights. And he's probably a quarter of the man's age. But obviously, I have to back Mike Tyson. I'm named after the legend, and I back him.
Ooh boy, it looks like the plot is thickening in this whole Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul saga.
But it's time. It's my time now. There's a reason why I have the same birthday as Customato. Because I'm going to teach you how to box, Mike.
Now we've got boxing experts and legends weighing in, and they're all pretty much saying the same thing. Jake better watch his mouth because Tyson is coming for him. These boxing insiders are reportedly terrified of Tyson's physical condition. They've seen him training, and they're saying he looks like an absolute beast. And have you heard what Tyson Fury's been saying about the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight? Apparently he's got some strong words of warning for Jake. Rumor has it that Fury's been telling anyone who'll listen that Jake's in way over his head with this one. He's saying that going up against a legend like Mike Tyson is a whole different ball game than the YouTubers and ex-NBA players Jake's been fighting so far. Fury's not pulling any punches, pun intended, when it comes to his predictions for the fight. He's straight up saying that Jake's gonna lose and get knocked out cold. I mean, coming from a guy like Tyson Fury, who knows a thing or two about heavyweight boxing, that's a pretty serious warning. You've got to wonder if Jake's really thought this through. Sure, he's had some impressive wins in his short boxing career, but Mike Tyson? That's a whole different level of opponent. Tyson's got decades of experience, raw power, and a chip on his shoulder after those comments Jake allegedly made. If Fury's right and Tyson does manage to land one of his trademark punches, it could be lights out for Jake. But before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and help me out. Now this is getting even more interesting. Lennox Lewis, another boxing legend, has apparently stepped into the fray with some words of warning for Jake Paul.
Talk to the schmo for a second. We thought it'd be an exhibition, but it's going to be a real fight. You know this man well. Mike Tyson, he's fighting Jake Paul. What are your expectations for that big fight in Dallas, Texas?
I think it's going to be a good fight. I mean, you know, Mike Tyson, what he does is two-dimensional. He's going to come at you, trying to knock you out. Now, you got to try and stay away from him. Stay away from his power. I seen him working out the other day, and he throws some good combinations. So those 6-punch combinations, he has to make sure, I'm talking Jake Paul, make sure that he's not in the way of those punches, because Tyson's a real fighter.
Lewis knows a thing or two about facing Tyson in the ring, having fought him back in 2002. From what I've heard, Lewis is cautioning Jake not to underestimate Tyson regardless of his age. He's emphasizing that Tyson is a true fighter, through and through, and that he's not someone to be taken lightly. What's more, there are rumors circulating that Tyson is in incredible shape for this fight. Despite being 57 years old, he's reportedly been training like a madman, looking to prove to everyone, especially Jake Paul, that he's still got what it takes to dominate in the ring.
Jake Paul, I mean, as of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
This whole situation just got even more interesting with Floyd Mayweather reportedly weighing in on the matter. Apparently, Mayweather has been trying to warn Jake Paul about the dangers of stepping into the ring with a genuine fighter like Mike Tyson. Mayweather, being a boxing legend himself, knows a thing or two about the sport and what it takes to face off against the best of the best. He's allegedly been telling Jake that going up against Tyson is a whole different ball game compared to the opponents he's faced so far in his short boxing career. According to these rumors, Mayweather is concerned that Jake might be biting off more than he can chew by taking on Iron Mike. He's said to be warning the younger Paul brother that Tyson's experience, power, and skills could spell big trouble for him once the bell rings. It's interesting to see Mayweather, who's had his own share of rivalries and trash talk over the years, apparently taking on the role of a wise mentor figure here. You get the sense that he recognizes the seriousness of the challenge Jake is facing and wants to make sure the young fighter fully understands what he's getting himself into. Of course, Jake Paul is known for his confidence and bravado, so it's hard to say whether he'll take Mayweather's alleged warnings to heart. He might just brush them off as another doubter trying to stand in his way. But if there's anyone who knows about the risks and rewards of taking on the biggest challenges in boxing, it's Floyd Mayweather.
Look at a fighter's career. Sometimes people forget about the high points. They don't look at the low points. They look at a fighter when they're not as good anymore, when they're not as committed anymore, maybe they have health problems. They don't look at the time when they were at their highest RPMs. That's what you got to look at. To me, that's like Mike Tyson. Like, everybody wants to look at who's the greatest heavyweight of all time. I don't think there's a greatest heavyweight of all time. I think the greatest culturally significant heavyweight of all time is Muhammad Ali, because he was more than just a heavyweight champion. He was a guy who they denied him his ability to fight for 3 years because he wouldn't fight in Vietnam. He stood up for a lot of people that did not want the Vietnam War. and he's also one of the greatest fighters of all time. So he's got both things going on. But Mike Tyson in his prime, in those years from like, what was it, like 86, 87 to 89, 90, whatever those years were, where he was just storming the gates, I put that Mike Tyson up against anybody who ever lived. That guy was a special fighter. The Mike Tyson that beat Marvis Frazier was a
Beast.
He was just a juggernaut.
According to the rumors, Joe Rogan is telling anyone who will listen that Jake is in way over his head with this fight. He's saying that going up against a real fighter like Tyson is going to be a whole different ballgame than anything Jake's faced before. Rogan's argument is pretty simple. It doesn't matter that Tyson is 57 years old. The guy is still Mike Tyson, one of the most feared and respected boxers in history. He's got decades of experience, raw power, and a killer instinct that you just can't teach. Compare that to Jake Paul, who's relatively new to the boxing scene. Rogan seems to think that Jake is underestimating just how tough this fight is going to be. It's clear that Rogan has a lot of respect for Tyson and what he's accomplished in his career. He's not buying into the idea that age alone is going to be enough to give Jake the edge. In fact, he's predicting that Tyson's experience and skill could be a rude awakening for the young YouTuber turned boxer. Jeff Fennick, Mike Tyson's former trainer, boldly predicts that Jake Paul stands little chance against the boxing legend when they face off in the ring. Despite the odds stacked against Tyson due to age, Fennick remains confident in Tyson's formidable power. He believes that if Tyson employs strategic finesse, making Paul miss his punches, Tyson will deliver a knockout blow within a couple of rounds. I have no doubt Tyson wins if Mike takes it easy and doesn't try to punch at the same time, Fennick told Wide World of Sports. If he makes Jake Paul miss, Mike will knock him out in a couple of rounds, 100%. I spoke to Mike and I told him what I felt. Hopefully he'll listen to me. We said the same thing anyway. If he does what he said, then I have no doubt he will knock him out. He'll have no problem. Did you hear what Anthony Joshua said about the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight? He was on this talk show, the Jonathan Ross Show, and he shared his thoughts on the whole thing. So, Joshua thinks the fight is pretty interesting, right? You've got Tyson, who's like 58 years old, trying to relive his glory days. And then there's Jake Paul, this young 27-year-old guy who went from being a YouTuber to a boxer. It's like a mix of old school experience and new school hype. But get this. Joshua says that even though he thinks the fight is cool, a lot of hardcore boxing fans are not happy about it. They're like, why are these guys disrespecting our sport? It's like there's this big divide between people who are excited about the fight and those who think it's a joke. Oh, and Joshua also mentioned that even though these influencer fights can be good for boxing by bringing in new fans and stuff, he actually thinks Jake Paul has a pretty good chance of winning against Tyson. Crazy, right? But that's not all. Deontay Wilder, another former heavyweight champ, is really worried about Tyson getting in the ring at his age. He's afraid Tyson might get seriously hurt, especially since he hasn't fought professionally in forever. Wilder was even surprised that they gave Tyson a license to fight.
I'm a normal guy, I guess I'm famous, but I'm a normal guy. I like taking my kids to school. I like walking around the corner, smoking a joint or something. But it's just that everything I wanted, I received, and then sometimes that's more than I can anticipate. And sometimes my mentor, Custom Model, always tell me, because I used to always say, I'm going to be the greatest fighter in the world. What happens if I win the title at 17? I'd probably be the greatest fighter ever. And he said, be careful what you wish for. You might get it. Wow, he was so right. He was so right, so right. So now I can't go outside, hang out no more, because I can't afford to get angry and get lawsuits and hit people and show people I'm a human being too and leave me alone. So I learned the root of just, hey, I love you, or hug, kiss, everything, even if I don't like, hey, brother, or everything that buried hatches, we're friends again. And that's just how I go in life. I don't, I'm not like some people, like sometimes, my wife is everybody's friend, and I always say, a friend to everybody is the enemy to yourself. You have to have limits. Everybody can't be your friend. You can't be everybody's friend. And that's what I live by.
So get this. Almost every boxing legend and expert out there seems to be siding with Tyson in this upcoming fight. They're all saying that Iron Mike's got this in the bag, and that Jake Paul's in for a rude awakening come fight night. I mean, when you've got guys like Sugar Ray Leonard, Evander Holyfield, and George Foreman all backing Tyson, you know it's serious. These are some of the greatest boxers to ever step into the ring, and they know a thing or two about what it takes to win at the highest level. Even the current heavyweight champ, Tyson Fury, has come out and said that he thinks Tyson will knock Jake out. That's a pretty big endorsement, if you ask me. Personally, I've got to agree with the experts on this one. I know Jake Paul has surprised a lot of people with his boxing skills so far, but let's be real. He's never faced anyone like Mike Tyson before. Iron Mike's a whole different beast, with a wealth of experience, raw power, and an unmatched intensity that's hard to replicate. Plus, with all the trash talk and disrespect coming from Jake's side, I think Tyson's going to be more motivated than ever to prove a point. He's not just fighting for a paycheck or to entertain the masses. He's fighting to defend his legacy and show the world that he's still a force to be reckoned with. When you combine Tyson's natural abilities with the chip on his shoulder from Jake's comments, I think we're in for a short night. My prediction? Tyson's going to come out swinging and make a statement, reminding everyone why he's one of the greatest to ever do it. Jake Paul might be in for the toughest lesson of his boxing career. I mentioned many details of this saga, but there's something else very huge that is happening in the wait for this fight. So check out this deep dive where I'll tell you other rumors that are buzzing in the boxing community. You will learn new shocking claims that are attracting people's attention. Click on the screen to watch the deep dive, and thanks for watching this video.